Welcome to the fourth video for our Dreamtime soundtrack tutorials. So in this one we're going to look at adding a couple of loops to add a bit of excitement, bit of colour to our piece. So how do we do that? Well, this is my project. The loops browser is up here, top right, this icon that looks like a loop. So we click on it. First time that you ever run GarageBand and open it, it will index all the loops, so it will take a little while for you to be able to see it. Okay, now we have got tons and tons of different options here. The sort of things that I'm going to add is a little bit of sort of electronic music sounds towards the end, just to give us a bit of colour right there. So I can decide exactly which things I want to listen to by selecting a few descriptors here. I'm looking for a beat, so I'll start with that. And what am I looking for? Something that's kind of electronic sounding and intense, dark. All right. So let's see what we have as options here. I can click on these to preview them. That's not bad. A little bit too intense. It's okay. Quite like that. Okay, so I think I quite like that. Now I'm going to want this to come in at around about the point where our Moon Man goes on fire. So that's right here. When you die! So I'm going to drag that beat in just like I did the sound effects earlier from the loop browser. Try to line it up as best I can, and in this case I am going to line it up with these vertical lines. Now what I'll do is I'll get out of the loop browser for a second and zoom in so that we can see those. You can see that we've got all of these faint grey vertical lines. All of my blue imported loops should be lined up perfectly with those. So not like this, but like that. All right, so I'll have that hit there and go through to the end. When you die, you will die forever, but I will never die. Perfect. Okay, so I've got my electric beat. Let's add a couple of other things in as well just for fun. So I'm going to go back to my loop browser. I'm going to reset. And now I'm looking for a synthesizer part. All right. Now this first one is a float. And the way that GarageBand works is things that have got a similar name tend to work together. So I know in advance that I want to use this. You might find it from all sorts of other spots, but I'm going to use a float. So I'm going to search now. So I'll reset, and now I'm going to search for a float. I'm going to use some things that go together. I could actually use the afloat beat. So it's a bit corny, so I'm not going to use that. Let's check these out. Afloat pad. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's bring that in. Afloat sub bass. Don't know about that, but I'll try it. And afloat synth arpeggio. Let's put that in too. All right, so I'll close my loop browser. Now what I want to do is line these up. Now I don't want everything all at once. So I'm going to have the beat and the bass come in at that point. I'm going to have the pad come in here. So at the point where we're becoming the moon, I'm going to trim this to finish at the same time as everything else. I'm going to have this come in last, I think. Let's see how that sounds. Die! You will die forever, but I will never die! Alright, forgot to trim the bass. That's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that.
Die! You will die forever, but I will never die!
Alright, so that's a real quick, dirty way to get a bit of a beat in there. One last thing that I'm going to do. I've got that at the end, and I'm using that to highlight that drama right at the end of my track. How about introducing that earlier as well? So I'm going to take that afloat arpeggio thing, this thing here. I'm going to try starting with that as well. Let's check that out.
One day, Moon's two boys told him they wanted to go hunting.
A little bit loud.
One day, Moon's two boys told him they wanted to go hunting for the first time. They would catch food for the whole family. Down at the Billabong, the boys had fun.
Not bad.
One day, Moon's two boys told him they wanted to go hunting for the first time. They would catch food for
nice
the
and
whole
short.
family. Down at the Billabong, the boys had fun catching all kinds of fish. All the boys brought back were bones. They're just bones, said Moon.
Okay, here's another transition.
We'll go back and do it right this time.
So I'm going to put this in
The boys were not good at keeping
at our
promises.
night time as again.
The women went looking.
Let's just check that
Not
sounds
good
good.
at keeping promises. The women went looking. They found the trap. It was their sons in there. When you die, you will die forever, but I will never die.
Cool. All right, good. So at this point, I've got all of my tracks in. I've got my basic mixing done because I've done that as I went through. Notice that I left the narration where it started and I mixed everything underneath it. So it's always got the narration as the loudest part. The final video, which is coming up, I'm going to show you how to automate and get in and out of some of these sounds and how to export your finished video.